Okay, guys. Pam Skinner podcast, 2025 Climb Conference, day 3 recap. It's done. Let's go.
Wow.
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 That was amazing. Okay, well, let's just talk about day 3.
Yeah.
It's Friday, October. What is it? I'm losing track of the days. The 4th?
Third.
Third.
Okay.
Third.
Okay. This morning we had a women's program.
We did.
Oh,
Oh,
Pam, tell me about it.
oh my gosh. It was amazing. So Joel's wonderful wife, Christy Peed, and Stephanie Sullivan from the church in Quad Cities. They both have, I don't know if it's recently, but in the past year or so, recently they've gotten their master's degree in spiritual formation. And so just devoted, it wasn't a couple hours. I mean, it went by so fast, but it was so rich, so spiritual. We did prayer, breathing prayers, just a great time to get in touch with how much God loves us. Just their whole goal they shared was that they wanted to pour in to the women that are in the ministry who pour out so much. And so it was just a great time to feel filled up, to focus on our identity as God's daughters, how really sincerely we are just loved by God. And so it was very, very impacting. I'm definitely glad I was there, and they did a fantastic job. Some good practicals. Christy kind of went through talking about solitude, talking about just, getting rid of the distractions, challenge people to, put away your phones and turn off your phone. And, just how important that is to be able to sit still and sit in silence and to be able to listen to God's voice instead of just all the noise and the busyness and what do I need to do? And just, I thought that was really well done.
After losing your mom
Mhm.
just a few days ago, how did it help you?
It really helped me. We did this one exercise where they had us close our eyes and we opened up our hands and we closed, what are some things we want to let go of? Just worries, concerns, and they had us kind of close our fists and just think about those things that we had to release and then open up our hands. Yeah, that was really powerful, just to think about everything that I've gone through and the loss and the pain, but just trying to let it go. It was really powerful.
I was there too.
I heard you snuck into the.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that's legal or not, but
I felt like I'm one of the organizers.
Exactly. Yeah, make sure it was done well.
Christy is one of my favorite teachers in fellowship.
Yeah.
And I'm a little high on her. She really, it's not just because she's my wife. She's a very good teacher. A lot of what Pam was describing, but also some really good, rich teaching about the Holy Spirit and about identity. So it was beautiful. And Stephanie are getting asked to speak around the country. And excuse me, it's really encouraging. But I think Christy tells the story of adopting Jayana.
That was really powerful.
That's so powerful because for the first 2 years, Jayana really fought her identity as our daughter. And then she gave herself over to it. And it changed everything for her. Her joy, her peace, her relationships with us and the other siblings. And it's just such a perfect analogy of we are adopted into God's family, but we don't fully surrender into it and understand what it means. And that's that forming over time. So there's just they're a great pair. They're great friends. They went through school together. So they were, so they're a good duo.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, we had a great men's program for those of us who are there. So what?
So I lose my man card. That's my wife's.
That's the one.
That's ridiculous.
That's good. Yeah, the men's program was great. We had Tom Newley from the Madison Church, and what I loved about Tom is, we asked him. He has taken like the big church framework and model for social media, Google. They're having like 20 or 25 visitors a week in an 80-person church. Just people coming off of leads from Instagram. Totally taken that. But He's such a spiritual guy that he refused to make it about that. And the reason is, it's not just about, like, that's one tool that they use, but he's a great trainer. He's a prayerful man. He's a great leader. And so he talked about all of that. And then later on in the round table, which a lot of people went to hear the details about all of that. But I really appreciate his integrity for that. And I think maybe at a bigger conference, you would have just, here's the, here we kept saying, there's no secret sauce. Here's the silver bullet for your ministry. Pay this much money to Instagram and your church will grow. But at the small church conference, that's not going to happen. No one's going to sit. These guys, they're just not going to do it.
He had me confused there at the beginning because he started off by talking about his ministry principles. He talked about perseverance, making every effort. He talked about humility. And there's one other quality that he depends on. And I thought he was talking about social media, but he kind of built a foundation that he's a very humble guy. And he just refuses to brag about anything he's doing to a fault. But then he did get into a little bit. And I thought it was good. I very much respect the guy. So I thought that was great. And then it's Kurt Finchbaugh.
Yeah. And Kurt's amazing. He's one of the next generation planners for whatever the future of Climb might be. So he's been with us on all the planning calls. And I think he's really cut from your cloth, Rob. He's a radical guy. He's, does all these, ultra endurance sports. And he's a volunteer firefighter, just, to add to the craziness of mystique. But I was so impressed by and I think I relate to him a lot. He's got a lot of great ideas, and a lot of ideas that don't necessarily work. And then you try something new and you keep trying. He talks about failing and failing forward and failing fast. I thought that was really good. And then just how much they pray, how much they fast. These aren't like ideas like programs. They're just spiritual, foundational things for leaders. And a ton of feedback. People loved that. Were really encouraged. Yeah. What did you think?
Yeah, I feel like he's got like black lab energy, golden retriever energy. Just so much. I asked him how old he was. He's 36. So I say he's got the energy of an 18-year-old.
Right.
He's so passionate.
Yeah.
It reminded me of my love for my home state of Oregon, because he just talked about his passion to get a church going in the Lehigh Valley. I've never really heard of that area. Except he mentioned Allentown, Pennsylvania. That song. How all the plants are shutting down in Allentown.
That's where you want to go. Someone's got to go.
You mean it sound like it was the new Paris or something?
That's right.
So he's just so excited. But he's just told some amazing stories about getting into contact with a friend who'd rejected the gospel when they were in college together. Then he called him out of the blue 6 years later. He didn't know that the guy had gone through alcoholism, just hit bottom.
That was cool, yeah.
And then prayed. The same day, Kurt was right back there. I missed my chance. Wow. Please bring me back to God. Kurt texted him 30 minutes later.
Come on.
Just to touch places.
Yep.
Came out to church, became a Christian. Just such an inspiring story. I loved it because it's truly the heart of a missionary. It's like, I love to say, it's like when you went to Eau Claire. It's like, we love this place. We want to be here. And I think more people need to have that spirit, because those are the kind of people that get the job done. Yeah. They want to be there. They don't care if everyone else can't stand the area. They love it. They love the people. And they're going to win. They're going to succeed. They're going to find a way. And I thought he just did such a great job.
Yeah, it was cool that, Tom's church was like around 80 when he started leading it, but then he needed to actually bring that church membership down. Like, it was a struggle. And a lot of our small churches aren't church plantings. They're struggling churches that have been stagnant forever. That's what he inherited. And so he had to actually, navigate getting smaller, and then has grown it up into the 80s. And then Kurt started with 27 and grew it up into the 80s. So they're both kind of in the same place, but the paths are so different.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that's so cool about the Climb conferences. There's just so many stories.
Yeah.
And even churches that look the same on paper have had completely different experiences. You get to have that.
It was so great. And then we had lunch, and of course that was really, really good. Food trucks that you organized. We had a taco truck, and then disciples organizing hot dogs and hamburgers. maybe hamburgers. Then we had the afternoon classes. Let's talk about that. First of all, I introduced Joel Nagel, and
I know him.
Joel, you did such a fantastic job. I got to just lift you up because you always do a great job. You're kind of like technical expert. You're a content developer, but there's this side of you that's very emotional, although you can't see it by your face. You read a poem that was really touching, and I was brought to tears a couple times during your lesson because it was so really well. And I just loved what you talked about. You talked about thread and your passion to help small churches. You talked about how many large churches are using the products you're developing to try to help churches and church leaders, but you really designed it for small churches. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think I talked about I think over the last few years, I've really figured out, I was leading the church as an evangelist. I'm still an evangelist, but now I'm a teacher for the Midwest churches, and I'm doing all of this work. Like, all these churches are preaching from sermon starters I write, and all these disciples are doing daily devotionals from the Thread app that I write, and it's just an incredible position to be in. But I think that transition from being an evangelist to a teacher and doing this is hard, but I really feel like I'm accepting and loving. This is what God would have me do. And it's crazy to get to do what God would have you do. And so, yeah, my not profound mantra is do cool stuff, take other people with me and help them do even cooler stuff.
Oh, I thought that was
That's good. Yeah. And so, that's what Jesus did. He did really cool stuff, but he brought people with him, and then we get to do even cooler, even greater things, right? That's a better way to say it. Jesus said it better. But yeah, and so that's really what Thread is just bringing as many people as possible, small churches, large churches, to get to do really cool stuff, to have these incredible resources. I just feel honored to get to work with Dave and Hannah and Cord and to build this stuff. And I really want the small churches. I actually don't know the big church. I'm a small church guy. And so everything I make is from that frame of mind. Like, what would help a church that has almost no resources to fight way above their weight? What would help, what could you put in disciples' hands or their pockets and their purses through the app that a small church could never provide? And can we make it ridiculously cheap? And that's what Thread is.
Yeah.
And the response was incredible. People are fired up to learn more about Thread. And so I hope that it can be something that continues to. There's a lot of small churches that use it. And I think there'll be a lot more.
It made me think too, just how it could help church plantings.
Oh yeah.
Because you've got people that are inexperienced, but you've got a tool that helps them to just produce better and more consistent material rather than just like love God, love the lost, love your brothers and sisters every Sunday.
Right. Yes.
Please, so
Yes. Please not that.
You're going to say something, Joel?
Yeah, I just feel like this is your gift.
Yeah.
You're gifted. It's spiritual. It's of God. And now you're moving more into really using that gift to impact countless people all over the globe.
Yeah.
And that's just the beauty, I think, of the church.
Yeah.
That everyone is gifted, and when that is empowered and released, it's beautiful. So I felt different about your talk today than previously. Like, I just think your passion and vision is beautiful, and it's sincere. You just sincerely love these church leaders and the small churches, and it's felt, and that's why you got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
I even knew that, but people just respect and feel the depth of your gift, and you're making that available, and your love ultimately. So just really, we're inspired by you. The Dallas Church now is one of the larger churches that is totally in on Thread, and people love it. And it's using, and we're going to use it more and more. But it's a beautiful. Your impact is multiplying.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the next class. After that, David De Los Santos came in, and he is a missionary came from the Midwest. Studied the Bible with Steve Sainin. Steve baptized him. Then he went on to Virginia. Then he went to or
Sri Lanka.
Went to Sydney, Australia.
The Ukraine.
And then he went back to, and now he's in Phoenix, Arizona. And I've been so impressed with him. He did a great job in Hungary. And I thought he did a great job today in the class. What'd you think about his lesson?
It was neat to see. I knew him as a little boy. His
Really?
family. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, as close to his family. And his, and so it's just, for me, whenever I see him, I'm just kind of like, wow, look at what God can do. We love David, but he was a little punk, he was just like, and to see God take these kids and form Christ in them and use them, and God be the glory.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah, he did a great job. He was an intern here, and there are college students
here in Lansing.
Yeah, he was with me for a year. He just was a baptizer, and there are still college students who then, after he left, got married. They have kids now in the church. Like, he has a lasting impact on our church. And I love that you said he was a punk. I think he still is a little punk. And like he's like, I'm going to be careful how I say this, and then he's just. I think,
I was not careful.
He was in Sri Lanka. He was so good at us. He could talk about the mission and be blunt. And I think we need to hear that. I think we needed to hear what he said. Yeah. And I think it was well said. It was really good. Yeah.
I thought it was a good counterpoint, because I think that the churches have grown in their capacity to show sympathy and empathy towards disciples, towards leaders, and realize it's a tough job. It is a tough job. And I liked his point, though, when he said basically, it is a tough job. You have to embrace that and understand that it's going to be tough. And I think he said it in a good way. He was respectful, but he basically said, you got to get over your solid stories. He said that, and that was pretty direct, but he said, it's like, it's not going to help you if you hold on to it for too long. But you have to kind of embrace, that's part of the sufferings for Christ. It's part of your relationship with God, and you're just going to have to embrace it. If you reject it and go, I don't want this, I hate this part of it, you're going to be very unhappy in the ministry.
Yep. I just think that's, as we mature, we're just more balanced.
Yeah.
So we need to take care of our ministers.
Yeah.
But that can get imbalanced.
That's right.
So that's why we got to have all parts of the body and not eliminate any and hold both of them together.
I agree. And I think we'll talk more about this when we do a full recap, but I think that's the power of the Climb Conference is you just you're bringing it all together. Let's charge the hill. Let's baptize as many as possible. At the same time, let's try to take care of people. Let's listen to your story. Let's try to focus on ministry, wealth, health. Maybe that's next conference. But health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what a small church. That's because a small church leader has to do all those things.
You got to do all those things.
It's not you don't get to specialize. You got to do all the things.
And I think a small church leader has to know themselves and lead from their true self.
That's absolutely true.
David's more of a challenger, evangelizer, baptizer.
Yeah.
I'm more of an empath, let's be whatever. And if God can work.
That's right. I love
both. And be yourself, know yourself. Yeah. Be yourself.
I think it's interesting that, there's no secret sauce, but then many people got up there. They're like, this is the secret sauce. I'm going to teach you all about it, but we don't have a secret sauce, but here it is.
It is a barbecue sauce.
Okay. Yeah.
I got barbecue.
And Dr. Kohab did the last
Yes.
one. Oh my God. Give me your thoughts. What did you think about Bella's lesson?
I mean, that was rich. It was funny that he went after David. It was just, that's another thing of the Climb Conference. You have young evangelists and you have mature elder right there, respecting one another. But he talked about your identity, which really echoed Christy in Stephanie's class about your identity. But it was deep. It was beautiful. He has just a way. I don't know if I haven't heard Elder teach a whole lot.
I haven't either.
It's just very rich, very deep. But it was powerful. Christy had the opportunity to talk with him for a couple hours after that talk, and it was just so encouraging. There's a lot there with Elder.
That's your boss, so you better say some nice things.
Yeah.
Okay. My boss, he's I can't believe that. He's so incredible. And he is so deep and so wise and just kind and generous. Like he was even telling stories about how he wasn't, like gracious. And I was like, that's not the Valder I know. He's been transformed. He's just a joy to be around. And I really, I thought it was actually a really cool full circle because you started off the whole conference by talking about it's not who you are, but whose you are, which is absolutely true. But then he ended it by saying, it does matter that you know who you are. Yeah. And that's what's so amazing about just how we're always, every human, whether you believe in God or not, is in relationship with God. And if you don't know who you are, how are you going to be in relationship with God? Right? You do have to have that understanding. And I think for small churches, it's so essential that the leaders know who they are, but also that they know what their cities are. They know the history of their place. Like every one of these churches is so unique. And I hope that people I know it's the last lesson. I thought he held everyone's attention really well, but I hope they really think about that. And we want to do some small church training, and that's going to be a big part of it. It's like, you got to figure out who you are, who your church is, so you can grow.
I love what we talked about everyone asks, are you self-aware? And everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm self-aware. And it's just like, wow, that's convicting.
Yes, I know how to answer that.
I could be like, oh, I'm self-aware. And maybe I'm not as self-aware as I think I am. So
he got surprisingly open and shared about how he stepped down as an elder, basically took a pause as an elder, even though he'd been appointed, in front of his family in Boston. Yeah. Because his wife has said, hey, I don't think you should be an elder. And that's what it kind of came across. So he was very, very,
very humble. And the emotions with that.
Yeah.
It's a failure.
Oh, man.
Which is, as a small church leader, like you got to be resilient. Like you got to know how to handle those. That seemed terrible. I'm the worst person ever. Yeah, the emotion.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's a super achiever in work, and I think that was really great that he shared that. And I was very moved by the poem he shared that Dietrich Bonhoeffer had written, and talking about who am I, and how he shared, am I the person that gets praised as stoic and cheerful in the face of difficulties and imprisonment and impending execution? Or am I the person who's really struggling with all this and how I don't know which one I am, but I am God's. I'm
so beautiful.
Yeah, just really powerful because I think I wrestle with that. I just could hear, because there's part of you that's like, there's a high part to every person that's spiritual. You just feel close to God. Then there's a part that's very worldly. It's, and you realize it's kind of two parts, two identities. And I thought that was a very great way that he expressed that.
It was,
yeah. It's really good.
We had 2 poems. We need more poems in the pulpit.
Oh, and you wrote a poem.
I don't want to experience beautiful poem, but I just want to say we need more poetry from the pulpit.
Yeah,
well, there you go. Wow.
And you even said there's a lot of study on Bonhoeffer's poem.
Yeah, I have a book.
So interesting.
Yeah, that breaks that poem down. It's beautiful. It's like that poem spawned more poems.
Huh.
It's a beautiful little book. Yeah.
I thought that was great. And then we had an amazing feast.
Oh my gosh.
Which is great. Thank you, Lord.
Yes.
I ate so much. Double helping of the mac and cheese.
That was really fun to have everybody together in the last meal.
Yeah.
Everybody eat together, the vibe. And
really reminded me of the first Divine
Conference.
Yes. Together.
We all eat together.
It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like a ceremony almost. It just it like cements everyone together. So,
banquet.
Let's
leave the church and then to come back and see it flipped into this banquet hall. It was beautiful.
So thankful for the Lansing Church.
Oh my gosh.
It's an incredible church. We are so blessed, clearly, and just great sermons. Yeah, they did such an amazing job. Yeah, so grateful.
And then it capped off in prayer.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
So we went out to a golf course, sacred ground. It's a good start.
There you go.
But it was beautiful. The sun was setting. And Josh Lutz and Michelle, who the Lutz is gifted. Yeah.
Worship. That worship.
That's there
in many ways.
Many ways. That's one of the But then we had knowing, being, and doing. Yeah. Songs, readings, scripture readings, thought, and then prayers.
Yeah.
And Joel directed us in a really beautiful way to pray, a corporate prayer, pray together. And that was so moving, so powerful. The stars were coming out, the sun was setting. It was paradise.